Yo, Tokoyami Dark Shadow lit up this episode, bro. So episode 5, the 5th season of My Hero Academia has been released, and this was a pretty interesting episode, and Tokoyami was the main focus point in this episode. This episode was mainly centered around him for sure, and this episode was the beginning of the second round between Class A and Class B. This time, it's Momo Yaoyorozu's group that consists of Aoyama, Hagakure, and Tokoyami, and as for Class B, it's a class representative, and Class B's big sister, orange hair Kendo, along with 3 other people from her class. With that brief info, I'll give my review and thoughts on this episode, so let's see what happened in this episode. So the episode starts with the ending of the previous round. Kirishima and Koda talk about how they weren't able to be much help getting knocked out early in the round. After that, Shinsho was frustrated and disappointed in himself that he wasn't able to use a tenth of what he learned using a blind cloth wrapped around his neck. Mr. Aizawa tells him to not forget that frustration as he moves on, while adding on it took Aizawa 6 years to master the blinding cloth. While Shinsho thinks back of his performances while playing around with the blinding cloth, the teacher Midnight comments on even though he won, Shinsho is clearly aware of his inexperience. She realized instead of being let down by his performances, he should play the match in his head for ways to improve himself. After that, Black King does his own dissect on his class's performance in the first round, to which Monome comes by to say what he has to say on his classmates' performances. After that, we get to the part where the round's about to begin as Momo's and Kendo's group walk aside each other. Some of the classmates are talking to one another, and we get to see Tokoyami speaking to Kuryo, who's this complete pitch black kid, and that has to do with his quirk called Black, and no, I'm not kidding, that's the name of his quirk. They both have a chat, and Kuryo takes his interest to Tokoyami as he states something to do with them meeting each other was destiny. Once the two groups ended their conversations, they went their separate ways. After they're far away from each other, the round officially starts, and right away, Momo's group are in an entire predicament. It starts out with Tokoyami using his Dark Shadow to scout Kendo's team. However, that doesn't go well as they thought. Dark Shadow comes back but ends up attacking Tokoyami and his fellow classmates. The group retaliates back by using Hagakure, the invisible girl, uses her blinding light attack to separate Dark Shadow from the one who's controlling him. Kukurio comes out of the Dark Shadow and he was able to transmit himself to the dark patches in the area. And this guy Kurio looks like Tokoyami and talks to him about that statement from earlier about destiny, saying him and Tokoyami share the same destiny. Tokoyami replies to him that they must be destined rivals, as Tokoyami takes out his cape saying he will reveal his invented move that he learned from Hawks, to which he calls it Dark Fallen Angel, which is a pretty cool name. Now after that, we get a little bit of time skip from the past during the internship of Hawks, which Tokoyami took part of. Tokoyami remembers the times in his internship where he didn't do as much, as he was just with other heroes doing cleanup while Hawks was flying around stopping bad guys and incidents from occurring. Tokoyami wasn't too pleased with the experience until he was called up by Hawks. Tokoyami asks him why he called him up, as Hawks replies because they are birds of a feather. Tokoyami thought it was a joke, but Hawks stated it's 20% serious. After recently, he wanted to talk with someone from Class 1A about the thugs from the League of Villains who attacked them during the USJ incident, which could be traced back to Season 1 of My Hero Academia. As well as during the sports festival, Hawks believed it would be great to see a bird-like person like Tokoyami who can keep up with him. Then after the internship, Tokoyami pretty much learned nothing to gain from it during his time as Hawks back then. Seeing as things might end up there, between them, Tokoyami was called up to do his work studies with Hawks. During the work study, we see a clear comparison from internship and work study. Tokoyami was able to keep up with Hawks and more determined to keep up with him even if he's number 4, 3, or 2 hero. Soon later, right after work study, Hawks asked Tokoyami to have a chat with him. It turns out that chat was actually Hawks carrying Tokoyami in his arms while flying around the city during the dark. And we see in Tokoyami's face he's quite scared of being high up. Tokoyami couldn't believe his eyes that they're flying. Hawks asked him if it's first time flying, while adding on about the reason he called him up to learn from Hawks is that he believes Tokoyami is wasting his potential. Tokoyami asks Hawks what he thinks about him wasting his potential. Hawks answers that it's good to put your effort into covering short-range weakness, but shouldn't forget to develop what you're good at. Hawks passes by and drops Tokoyami on the tall tower while he says to him that even though he's not interested in training the next generation of heroes. However, to Hawks, Tokoyami are birds of feather, as birds like them should fly and not be confined to the ground. That scene transitions back to the present where Tokoyami reveals his new move, Dark Fallen Angel. Kukurio gets excited from hearing that as he goes through the dark patches of the pipes, roaming around as he pleases. Kukurio travels from pipe to pipe while revealing that he wasn't actually going to target Tokoyami, but instead goes after Aoyama as he drags his body onto the pipes at such fast speeds. Kukurio traveling at high speed and going through tight spaces, he believed and was cocky enough that he lost the others and Tokoyami, and he couldn't be any more wrong as Tokoyami came from behind saying that's what he thought. And we see Dark Shadow and Tokoyami are set as one flying through the pipe field. Dark Fallen Angel was so amazing, seeing Tokoyami pull this off for the first time in the anime. However, this wasn't the first time that Dark Fallen Angel was animated, since the first time we saw Dark Fallen Angel was during the second movie of My Hero Academia, he was rising when Tokoyami was actually flying the same way that he's doing right now in this episode. That's like because Dark Shadow can float. Dark Shadow is able to move as he attaches himself to Tokoyami while being covered by Tokoyami's cape because of Dark Shadow made weakness being exposed to too much light. With this new move, Tokoyami was able to grab Aoyama back and Tokoyami flies up high, while from down below, Kokurio commented saying that Plan A failed. As he dives into the darkness, Momo tells Aoyama to use his naval laser beam and for Tokoyami to fly higher. Aoyama lit up his laser beams all over the place, exposing Kokurio, leaving Hagakure and Momo on him as he has nowhere to go. Momo couldn't believe that he launched a surprise attack with just one person, but claims unexpected circumstances are within her expectations. Kokurio heard what she said about within expectations while he made a run for it. Both Momo and Hagakure follow, but all of a sudden, emotion sprouts on Momo's nose and all over Hagakure's invisible body. Seeing this, Kokurio comments, as expected, Kendo's better than you all along, with the transition of seeing Kendo and other classmates saying put in an unclosed area. With that said, another classmate from class 1B appears and it's that mushroom girl who has a quirk that creates mushrooms. She's roaming around the area while saying Kendo's right, if there's light then plan A failed. And as she continues walking, more mushrooms being spread out more. As she reveals her plan B is to cover everything with mushrooms, which sounds quite troubling for Momo's group to handle. The mushroom girl gives off a peace sign with a mushroom on her finger as the episode ends there. Jeez, yo. Not gonna lie, right now, Momo's group is really big trouble. They were successful in taking out Plan A. However, it did took them a while to stop Kokurio. And we see like Momo, Kendo is also a strategist. And she knows what she's doing. Compared to Momo, who seems to be losing her structure. It seems to me that she's not as prepared as Kendo is. So in my opinion, if Momo doesn't get her team to follow, they'll definitely have a rough time against the Mushroom Girl, along with Kendo. With that being said, if you enjoyed this video, if you do, please give this video a like. And if you want, consider subscribing to my channel for more My Academia anime content. And see y'all next time in my next video. Peace.